Welcome to Unbreakable Latina. Is this thing on? Hi guys, welcome back to Unbreakable Latina. This is your host Melina. I hope you're having an amazing 2026. I'm recording today is January 1st. How did we get here? How long has it been since I've spoken to you guys? It's been many months. I today realized that I have not recorded an episode since August, and so much has happened. So where have I been? Why the sudden break? Why did I disappear off the face of the podcasting world? I was overwhelmed. I was not taking my own advice. I wasn't slowing down. If you follow me on Instagram, then you'll know a little bit of why I took a break. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, I posted it maybe a few weeks after I just stopped uploading episodes because I had this conversation with my brother and he's like, what are your plans with the podcast? And at the moment, I had been struggling with my depression. I had been going through a breakup. So many things happened all at once during the summer that I just felt empty. I felt like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I think my last episode was finding motivation. I can't even remember. Let me check because that's how long it's been. I hadn't touched my podcast equipment since I stopped recording, since the last time I recorded. Mind you, I had a leak in my house and the podcast equipment almost got ruined. So my last episodes were coping with heartbreak, from heartbreak to healing, therapy lessons, and how to get out of a funk. And to be honest, I was struggling. I was making those episodes because I didn't know how to get out of this funk. I didn't know why I felt this way. I had forgot why I started the podcast. I had forgot what the whole point of all this was. Felt overwhelmed. Let alone like 2025 was just a crazy year for everybody, but especially for me. When I say that I didn't recognize myself anymore, I didn't have motivation to even work out. I didn't have motivation to make plans. I let go of my social club. I completely lost myself. And I think the root of everything was the heartbreak. As much as I hate to admit, it did affect me. Not because I missed the person, not because like I wanted that person back, but because I lost myself again. And I was so disappointed in myself. And I kept blaming myself, like, how dare I let someone into my world all to get embarrassed. I was embarrassed. My ego was hurt. I was mad at myself for being vulnerable. Damn, I'm gonna cry already. She's back. You guys have been here. If you're new here, hello. My name is Melina. I'm Unbreakable Latina. If you have been watching for a long time, if you've been following me since day one, if you came around while me taking the break, I've had a couple messages of people saying like, hey, like I just discovered your podcast. Like, where'd you go? I have been through a lot and I felt so healed. I felt like I was thriving, I was riding that wave, and then it all came crashing down along with the heartbreak. It was just like, personally, I just felt overwhelmed. I didn't know what I wanted anymore. I felt like all the work, all the healing I did for nothing. I blamed it on letting my guard down. I blamed it on just being a hopeless romantica and thinking that I found someone genuine. And even though they didn't have all the qualities I wanted, it's okay, Melina, don't be picky. Everybody keeps telling you to stop being picky because you're not going to get what you want. The truth is, be freaking picky. Because at the end of the day, who has to deal with it? You. Although I was like, wow, this is nice. Looking back, like there was a lot of red flags that I chose to ignore. You guys are like, oh, you look happy. I was very happy. For the first 3 months, that person was showing me this glamorized version of themselves. And then came month 4 or 5, the real person came out and they were completely different. And that's when I started questioning myself. I'm like, wait a minute, like this relationship, I don't think it's going to work out. I was seeking a lot of outside advice. And I kept saying like, I don't know why I feel this way. Like, is it because I haven't been in a relationship in a long time? Like, I was trying to validate my own feelings by getting external validation of people like, yeah, you're right. Like, you should feel that way. And I'm like, why was I doing that? Like, why was I so scared? But I think it's because, like, I was happy for once. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, am I really happy? Or why is this all feeling different now? It felt so good the first 3 months. And I had never experienced that. Like, I experienced inconsistency in dating, but never like these highs. I have been love bombed before, but this one took the cake. And I didn't think it was going to happen to me again. Because, like, of course, you should be obsessed with me and want to see me all the time. But it got to the point where that relationship, like, it was like empalagoso. It was empalagoso. Not that I stopped prioritizing my content and the podcast, but I felt like I didn't have room to create because I didn't, like, that person always wanted to be at my house. That person always, every weekend wanted to be here. I'm like, you don't have to come every weekend. Like, I like you, but you don't have to be here. And no, I want to be there. Yo, pues, duh. I wanted someone that's obsessed with me. But I pushed those boundaries that I had set for myself and my creativity and my podcast a lot. And I just learned that no, like the next person that comes into my life, my creativity, yeah, they're going to be important to me, but this still matters to me and this is important to me. And this is what makes me feel good. And I can't believe that I almost gave it all up because I was so lost in the sauce. So once that heartbreak happened, then my brother and I had this conversation. I forget if I touched base on it here right now when I was recording because my mind's just going like 1,000 miles per hour. But my brother and I were having a conversation. I think this was post breakup. And he was asking me like, so like, what are your goals for the podcast? And at the moment, guys, I was struggling with like that embarrassment. And I was also really depressed. I was going to therapy. I was so glad that I had therapy lined up. Even before the breakup, like, yeah, I was already ready because I was feeling some type of way for a bit. And I kept on pushing it and pushing it. Like I shared with you guys before that I didn't want to go to therapy because I knew it was going to be hard. I knew that there's a lot that I hadn't talked about in therapy, that I hadn't worked out through, that I had pushed deep down. And I knew that it was going to be difficult to face it all. But I did it. I did it. Therapy, no, ¿por qué? No, yo nomás puedo llorar aquí. Por eso me extrañan, ¿verdad? Porque les gusta llorar conmigo. Therapy was so healing this time around. Like the most that it's ever been. But it was so hard. Like, nomás me la pasaba chillando. Like, I kind of documented a little bit some of my journey on Instagram after my sessions. And they're so draining. Especially if you're already going through it and then having to relive, like, childhood trauma, things that happened during my college years, the heartbreaks that I've had, my long-term relationship of 5 years ago, this short 6-month, whatever it was, allegedly I was in a relationship. I joke around about that on Instagram. Like, yeah, allegedly I dated someone. It unpacked a lot, and I highly recommend that if you're feeling trapped, if you're feeling that scared of going to therapy, yeah, it's very scary because who wants to relive all their traumas? Who wants to talk about it? Who wants to come after working an 8 to 5 or before? I don't know how people do therapy before work or in the middle of work because I was a wreck after every day she'd be like, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good. And then start crying. I am so happy that I went because everything changed after that. And I just said, you know what? Because she did tell me, like, the way that you're working, you're gonna crack one day. Like, basically, she kept saying, like, you're setting yourself up to be overwhelmed. Because I was. And she kept calling me out. And getting called out by a stranger, it really hits. Because when I get called out by my family, I'm like, whatever. And she was right. So I stopped going to therapy and I decided to just live. I did create a little bit here and there in social media porque ya tenía contratos que tenía que hacer, pero no me sentía como like happy doing it. Like if I did show something, it was because in that moment I felt like, let me see what it feels like to post again. And then everybody would be like, where are you? Where were you? Where you been? Y yo acá llorando cada día. And slowly but surely I came out of that. I think around I want to say like I stopped recording in August. September, I was still going to therapy. Early October, I started feeling better. And then for a bit, me puse loquilla and I started going out. I started socializing, and you guys know that sí salía, pero no, estaba saliendo on the weekdays. Me puse un poco loquilla, pero I needed that. I needed it, like, to go outside and explore and see what's out there. There's nothing out there. Pero sí, salí y me divertí. I made friends. I made mistakes. But it was fun. It was fun at the time, and I just felt like, wow, like, okay, like, I can still be fun. Like, why am I sad at home? So, sí me ayudó a salir. I started going to the gym again at 4 a.m., 4 5 a.m. I haven't gone all month last month. But little by little, I started to see the beauty in life again. I know it sounds super dramatic, but that's how I felt. I felt like really down, really down. If I kept doing the podcast, I wasn't honoring myself, because I tell you guys to take breaks when you need them. I tell you guys that do things that make you happy. Figure out, go to therapy, go to this. But I wasn't living my truth because I wasn't doing those things. I was just like, what do I have to create next? And se sentía como bien forced. I felt forced the last couple episodes, because truly my mental health was in shambles, and just everything around me. A lot of things happened last year, not to me directly, but to my family members, and it was just really overwhelming. As much as you don't want to take in everybody else's drama or sadness, you do. You do, because as a family, you help each other out during hard times. Sometimes you just have to pause parts of your life. I just couldn't explain at the moment what I was feeling, so I just do what I do best and hid. I hid from the world. What have I done? Like I said, I party a little. I've been dating. I'm having to remind myself to live in the moment, to not have to control everything, because it's what I do all the time. So I've had a very good experience in dating at the end of this year. I've been dating and I have not been drinking while going on these dates. Everyone should date without drinking. When you're dating, if you're having a drink, a happy hour, whatever, I'm a lightweight. First and foremost, I'm a lightweight. Second, when you drink, you get flirty. Like, hasta todos se hacen más guapos. Like, oh my God, did he really like me? And I realized that I had never dated anyone while just like being sober. Not that que era una peda or whatever, but just being present and being myself and seeing who they are without alcohol. It's also important to see who they are with alcohol, but just seeing the true person that they are, because a lot of people gain confidence when they're drinking. Raise your hand if you also gain confidence with a little tequila. So yeah, like, I got confident, and then I'd be like, I really like him. But I'm like, do I like him, or it's just the tequila talking? Another thing that I learned from this break was that I don't always have to be strong, that it's okay to be down. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not pick myself back up right away and put a band-aid on everything and keep on going and be that hustler, the go-getter, blah, blah, blah. The podcaster, the creator, the freaking 8 to 5 worker, the daughter, the sister. Like, I don't have to be perfect. It's okay for me to have some bad days or bad months or half a bad year. Being a creator, being a podcaster, being on social media, it comes with a lot of pressure. And I realized that part of it was why I needed the break, because I kept on getting these messages of people like, why are you not doing this? And why are you not doing that? And expecting so much from me, when in reality, I couldn't even keep up with myself. It creates this pressure, like, damn, people hate me. A lot of people are like, why are you not speaking about this enough? And why are you doing this? And I used to like you, and now I don't like you anymore, and I'm gonna unfollow you, and threatening me when I'm going through like one of the worst times of my life. And it's hard. And I mean, it comes with the territory. I'm not complaining. I'll share with you guys what really happens behind the scenes, because I've always been honest with you guys, and it's hard to keep getting constant messages like that. As my audience grew, which I'm very grateful for, a lot of like it opened the doors for a lot of criticism and a lot of this. And when I had a little podcast and a little audience, it was easy. But as you grow, it becomes overwhelming. I don't know how like big creators do it. They probably just don't read the messages, and I'm still at the point where I could still read some of my messages, or like they come in when I'm on my phone or something, and they hurt because you're like, wait, like you hate me because I'm not doing what you expect me to do, that and you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Feeling that pressure to always inspire and be this perfect creator, it gets overwhelming. And that's one thing I learned. Like, you can only do the most that you could do. And if you're not good, you're not going to be able to inspire anybody. You're not going to be able to do anything. So take a damn break. I also realized that strength means recognizing that I needed a break and that I needed to slow down and that I needed to be in the moment, because life is short. And being stressed and just going through the motions when I'm not even being inspired, what's the point of even being a creator if I am giving you guys all this advice but I can't take my own advice? I realized that I didn't need to be strong anymore, and I just needed to be honest. And this is my truth, and I hope that if you're going through something where you feel like you're a quitter if you stop, because that's how I felt. That was my little voice, my little bully in here was like, you're such a quitter. Like, yeah, you weren't meant for this. Your haters are right. You're going to quit eventually. And can you guys believe that I was so down that I was considering just shutting the whole thing down? One day I almost deleted my whole Instagram. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Everybody has a comeback story. This is my comeback story. And then I kept putting this pressure like, oh, when you come back, you have to have a whole rebrand. You have to have a whole new setup. You have to have a whole new studio. Obviously, you guys see I'm still in my room. And this is where I comfortably do my podcast. I sat on the bed today because I just want to be a little more comfortable. And I hope it comes out good. But I don't need to have it all together. I don't need to have the most expensive equipment. I've invested enough in this podcast. Even when I just had this little mic, my laptop, that's all. That's all I had for so many months. And those are the episodes that did the most amazing. I didn't even have a camera at the time. This time it is going up on YouTube. Hopefully, salió bien. Because I know you guys love YouTube. But I don't need to have it all together, creator, and to be the OG that I've been. Truly, I started this because I wanted to have a podcast. I wanted to speak on different subjects. And the amount of love that I received, even though like there is negativity, like the amount of love I received supersedes any negative comment that I've ever gotten, and it makes me feel so good. And when I'm feeling down, I go read those comments. So thank you guys so much. If you leave a comment on Spotify, know that I read them, know that they make me smile, know that I want to reply to all of them, but sometimes I forget. It's what keeps me going. When I was considering quitting it all, I realized that I needed a new why, because the beginning I started it because I'm like, I need a hobby. I want to be a voice in the Latino space. But I needed a why should I keep going? And I thought about that a lot. And what I realized is that it's what I'm passionate about. It's what makes me feel fulfilled. My 8 to 5 does not make me feel fulfilled. This is what truly makes me happy, creating podcast episodes. The editing and all that, you guys know I'm not a fan of that, but creating the podcast episodes, rambling about, I don't even know what I've been rambling about this whole time. This is who I am, and y'all know, if you know me in real life, you know que no me puedo quedar callada, because one of my friends the other day is like, I can't work with you because all you do is talk all day. Girl, it's not my fault you can't multitask. But I was laughing and I realized, like, man, I can't shut the hell up. Like, I'm always talking, but when I don't talk, my brain is talking. Like, it doesn't stop. Sometimes I just wanted to shut up. When creating this podcast, it made me feel less alone. It made me gain a community. It made me feel like I'm not the only one that goes through these things, because a lot of the stuff that I talk about is things that normally people don't talk about. It's so crazy, like, to see my growth, and even like talking to you guys right now, like, I feel so confident being in front of the camera, being behind the microphone, because I remember that my voice used to tremble in the beginning, and a lot of you guys have shared that with me. And one time I did listen to one of my episodes, I'm like, who is that girl? Like, she was shyness, and now like the confidence that has grown within me is back. And even though last year it was a little lost in the sauce, it came back. So what this podcast represents for me is just my growth and the journey and bringing you guys along. And a lot of you guys have shared similar journeys as me, and it makes me feel like, okay, like I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that feels like this. And I have these conversations with my friends. Like the other day, Karina and I went out because I was crashing out. I was crashing out a little bit. Uh, maybe one day I'll share why. But we went and we had a pizza at our local Heroes. If you guys know the 909 Napa 1, you guys know Heroes is like sports bar, and we like to have barbecue chicken pizza. And I was like, girl, I need a barbecue chicken pizza ASAP right now. And we went and we're talking about things, and I'm like, wow, like that's exactly how I feel. And she's like, yeah, me too. I'm like, damn, like this whole time I thought all these things that I feel, I'm the only one that feels like this. She's like, no, I feel exactly what you feel. And then we're like completing each other's sentences, and I was like, the more that we talk about different topics, it just gives you a sense of community, and I feel like it makes you feel less alone. I feel like the podcast allows me to connect with maybe someone who doesn't have a Karina in their life, or a friend group like mine, like my coworkers, Lizette, Ruben, Celsius, and Daisy. Like I talk to them all the time about everything that happens, but there's a lot of people that aren't fortunate enough to have those coworkers slash colleagues slash friends. They get mad when we call each other colleagues, but like a lot of people don't have that, and I realize that my podcast is that for some people. I think back to the days where I didn't have those friends, where I didn't connect with people, and I wish that I had a podcast like mine to listen to. And this is not bragging. Because, oh my God, I just remember being so lonely. And a lot of people have messaged me saying like, oh, like, thank you so much. Like, I don't have anyone to talk to, or I'm not brave enough to bring up these topics. And that's my why. My why is helping people. So like I said, I'm back. I'm crying again. I don't know what I rambled about. I know I cried, but all I know is that I'm back. And I'm so glad that you guys are still here listening to me. Chillona pero chingona. And Unbreakable Latina for life, homies. It's never gonna be perfect, but it's always gonna be a real deal, honey. Because for a moment I lost myself, but she's back. And I remember the baddie that I am. And that baddie was very saddy. 2025, but 2026, she's back, and my promise to you guys is to remain who I truly am, because I've never lost that. I just was struggling a lot, so this is who I am. She cries, she cusses, but she gets through it. And I hope that 2026 is better for all of us collectively, and I'm so excited for this new chapter of Unbreakable Latina, because there's so much to talk about and so much I have to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode like I enjoyed recording and being back. Please, please, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. I really appreciate that. If you could comment what your favorite episodes are, what you want to see in 2026, let me know. Share it with a friend of yours that's struggling. Tell her that Unbreakable Latina has been through a lot of chapters and she's gotten through it, so that person can get through it too. And I hope you guys take care. Have an amazing first week of the year. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.